Chechen rebels dig in while the Russian military launches its heaviest bombardment yet on the capital of the breakaway Republic of Chechnya. Belgrade accuses France of plotting to assassinate President Slobodan Milosevic and arrests 5 people it says are French spies. And a Turkish appeals court refuses to overturn the death sentence for Kurdish guerrilla leader Abdullah Öcalan. From CNN in Washington, this is WorldView. I'm Charles Bierbauer. Bernard Shaw and Judy Woodruff are off. We begin in Chechnya, where Russian warplanes and artillery pounded the capital of Grozny Thursday. President Boris Yeltsin says the rebels are terrorists and the campaign will last until they are wiped out. CNN's Steve Harrigan reports from one Chechen village near Grozny where residents surrendered without a fight.
It may not be the men in masks and goggles who decide the conflict in Chechnya, but something much more pedestrian.
Heat and light is what I need. I've got nothing left to burn.
Cutting off the power was one tactic the Russians never tried in the First Chechen War. The move has cut rebel support, even among some who've taken part in the fighting.
Some people thought they were defending their homes. Then they understood you can't fight forever.
Both Chechens and Russians carry guns in Ochkoy Martan, where amnesty has been promised along with electricity. It's the second major town to cut a deal with the Russian army. But hundreds of Russian trucks carrying weapons and fuel still pour into the tiny republic. In the daytime, the Russians control this part of Chechnya, but they're digging in, expecting a Chechen counterattack. The Russians control the highway, but in Chechnya, asphalt quickly turns into mud. To get to your tank, you have to walk a plank.
Of course, my mother wants me to come back home, but somebody has to do this job.
That job has fallen to 19-year-old conscripts who, like their Chechen opponents, live in a world where heat and light are scarce. Steve Harrigan, CNN, Altapova, Chechnya.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin says Russian President Boris Yeltsin is again ill and will need at least a week to recover from a viral infection and acute bronchitis. It is Yeltsin's 10th illness in 3 years. CNN's Matthew Chance reports.
It is the latest setback for an ailing Russian president. Doctors say this time Boris Yeltsin has contracted a viral infection and is suffering from acute bronchitis. A planned state visit to Russia by the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, has been postponed. President Yeltsin, now 68 years old, has been repeatedly ill since his re-election in 1996. Soon afterwards, he underwent major heart surgery when doctors discovered he'd suffered at least 2 heart attacks during the election campaign. It was on a state visit to Uzbekistan in 1998 that his health appeared in severe decline. The trip was cut short and the president returned to Moscow. But in recent weeks, the Russian president has appeared in sturdy health, sweeping into a European security summit in Istanbul earlier this month, strongly defending Russia's military action in Chechnya in the face of international criticism. The Kremlin is giving no details on the seriousness of the president's latest condition, saying only he's now resting at his home outside Moscow. President Yeltsin has, in recent months, been increasingly absent from the Kremlin. He's only just returned from a lengthy vacation away from Moscow. And this once hands-on leader appears to be leaving the day-to-day running of Russia and its war in Chechnya to those around him. Matthew Chance, CNN, Moscow.
The government of Croatia is asking the country's constitutional court to declare its president, Franjo Tudjman, temporarily incapacitated. Tudjman is suffering from complications from emergency intestinal surgery. The court has 24 hours to approve the measure. It is expected to declare Tudjman unfit to govern. The move would transfer the president's powers to the Speaker of Parliament. In Yugoslavia, the government has arrested 5 men accused of plotting to assassinate President Slobodan Milosevic. The Belgrade government also accuses the 5 of spying for the French Secret Service. One suspect carries a Bosnian passport. The rest are from Yugoslavia. CNN's Alessio Vinci tells us Yugoslav Foreign Minister Goran Matić announced a long list of accusations on Thursday.
The assassination plot was part of a series of charges that Mr. Matić made against those 5 individuals. He said that those individuals were not only involved in the activities to try to destabilize the situation, the political situation in Yugoslavia, but also trying to organize killings, liquidation, the way he put it, and protection of people here in Yugoslavia. But he has shown no evidence of this alleged attempt to kill President Milosevic.
Yugoslav officials say the suspects formed a terrorist group named Spider. The French government has declined comment. Iranian intelligence officials say they have crushed a plot to assassinate several senior politicians. The accused are members of a radical Shiite Muslim group named Madion. Among their targets, the government says, were Iranian President Mohammad Khatami, seen here, and former President Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani. Iranian officials say the group saw its mission as creating chaos in order for the Messiah to come. The man considered by the Turkish government to be public enemy number 1 has lost an appeal of his death sentence. On Thursday, lawyers for Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan are expected to take their plea next to the European Court of Human Rights. As Andrew Finkel reports, this move could also buy time for some Turkish politicians.
An Ankara courthouse was a scene of huge emotion after judges upheld the conviction of PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan. It's now up to the politicians to decide more calmly whether to risk Turkey's reputation by dispatching the Kurdish rebel to the gallows. It is parliament and then the president who must approve the death penalty. Öcalan was not in court to hear the final verdict. He is still in the prison island of İmralı. It was there last June that he stood inside a glass cage in this high-security courtroom where he was tried for trying to tear the Turkish state apart. The Kurdish leader never really denied the charges, but offered instead to play a new role. He said that only he could broker the peace that would bring to an end 15 years of bloody conflict. It is an offer that outrages the relatives of soldiers who died in the fighting in the largely Kurdish southeast of Turkey. They are on a crusade to make Öcalan hang. There are others, too, who argue that without Öcalan at the helm, the PKK are a divided and weakened force. But there are also councils in Turkey who realize that to carry out its first execution since 1984 would be to bring the country into disrepute with the very European institutions of which Turkey is either a member or which it hopes to join. A debate in parliament over Öcalan's fate might be the one issue, too, that could split Turkey's coalition government. Turkey's prime minister has indicated that he would be happy to see the matter shelved, pending yet another appeal, this time to the European Court of Human Rights. This is a lengthy procedure and would give Ankara a breathing space. Even behind bars, it seems, Abdullah Öcalan remains a thorn in Turkey's side. Andrew Finkel for CNN, Istanbul.
Also in Turkey, a baby girl died after a fire swept through a campsite for earthquake victims east of Istanbul in Düzce. The fire was reportedly caused by gas canisters. The child's mother, who had been cooking, was also injured. 10 tents were destroyed in the camp. Officials in China say at least 290 people are feared dead after a passenger ferry caught fire and capsized in a storm. 22 survivors have been pulled from high seas off China's east coast and taken to hospitals. The ferry broke apart in gale force winds and huge waves late Wednesday. A 5-year-old Cuban boy was found alive Thursday, clinging to an inner tube in the Atlantic off the southern coast of Florida. The boy was one of 3 Cubans rescued by fishermen Thursday. All are listed in fair condition. 2 adult survivors told U.S. Coast Guard officials that they and 14 others set sail from Cuba on Sunday in a 17-foot boat. The survivors said the boat sank Tuesday and that 7 people drowned.
They left Matanzas probably about 4:30 on Sunday morning and came up towards Florida, encountered rough seas Monday or Tuesday, and that boat capsized. From talking to these 2 people who are in really poor condition right now, they've been able to tell us that they saw several people go down, and there may have only been 1 other inner tube available. So we're extremely concerned about the welfare of the other people that we're still out to sea.
The Coast Guard is searching for the missing Cubans. France's boycott of British beef was not on the menu, nor on the agenda in London Thursday when British Prime Minister Tony Blair and French President Jacques Chirac held talks at 10 Downing Street. The topic du jour, an all-European rapid response military force. CNN's London Bureau Chief Tom Mintier has the details.
British beef is definitely not on the menu for this summit, not on the agenda or the table. Lunch steered away from controversy, British pheasant, French wine. The French-British beef controversy was discussed, but apparently did not dominate the discussions.
Now this, of course, has by no means cast a shadow on our summit.
British Prime Minister Tony Blair and French President Jacques Chirac did talk about the establishment of a rapid deployment military force for Europe. It would be a force some 60,000 soldiers strong and share capabilities of transport. Both the British Prime Minister and the French President said after the meeting that it would support NATO, not work against it.
Let me make one thing quite clear. This is not about creating some single European army under single command. It is not an attempt in any shape or form to supplant or compete with NATO.
France has never intended to undermine or weaken NATO. It is deeply attached to the Atlantic Alliance, the transatlantic partnership, which is essential for Europe's security.
Putting together a military force outside of NATO has raised some eyebrows, not only inside Britain, but in the United States. The British and French claim such force is needed when NATO is not ready or willing to act.
What we're talking about here is using Europe's expertise for matters which matter more to Europe than they do to the United States, but which there'll still be consultation, and for the time being at least, there may well still be some American participation, but behind the scenes.
A former British Defence Minister, Sir George Robertson, now is at the helm at NATO. He has already started work to modernize and improve European military assets. In Britain, despite all the assurances, Mr. Blair's opponents say the meeting is one more example of the Prime Minister siding with the French to undermine NATO and reduce the importance of Britain's long-standing relationship with the United States. While most here would have preferred to hear more about beef than bullets, apparently the leaders of France and Britain had better luck with the bullets. Tom Mintier, CNN, London.
Just ahead on WorldView, the conflict over Jerusalem at a Mideast conference on religion and peace.
Until now, there has been a wall between you and the tools of serious trading. That wall is coming down. The information and technology professionals use to trade is now available to everyone. Daytech Online. The rules are changing.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. New Healthy Woman from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes in a natural way. New Healthy Woman.
Welcome to egghead.com.
Going sideways. Folks, this is the Cybervator. It guides you through the computer store inside your computer. 11th floor, where the biggest computer brands are always on sale. Virtually speaking. Going diagonal, auctions hard to find items, and the Love Lounge? Oops, someone's mouse is wandering. Egghead.com, the computer store inside your computer.
If you only use your weight to monitor your health and fitness, you're only getting half the picture. To get the whole picture, you need the Tanita Body Fat Monitor Scale, the only scale that measures both weight and body fat percentage, your BFP. BFP is the other half of the health and fitness picture, the Tanita Body Fat Monitor Scale. Get the whole picture with Tanita. To learn more, call 1-800-9-TANITA.
Only Puerto Rico sounds like this. Only Puerto Rico puts it all within your reach.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to you today because I just renovated my kitchen, complete with stainless steel fridge, track lighting, Spanish tile floors, and a trash compactor. I'm not asking for much, just a little help in paying it off. Anyone? Sir?
How do you plan on paying for renovations?
Anyone?
A home improvement loan from Conseco can help. Conseco. Step up.
In the Jordanian capital of Amman, King Abdullah had stern words for Israel over Jerusalem during a conference on religion and peace. CNN's Gerald Kessel has the details.
A world conference on religion and peace, a conference of people of faith from 100 lands and 15 different religions, dedicated to bridging gaps between those faiths and so help resolve conflicts, especially the new kinds of conflicts that rack the contemporary world.
With the fall of the Soviet Union, the majority of today's violent encounters are occurring between identity groups within and beyond national boundaries.
The most distinguished participant, Indonesia's new president, Abdurrahman Wahid, softly outspoken on the need for tolerance, chided those within his own troubled nation and faith who don't show such tolerance.
People don't have the courage to demonstrate against me, but against my foreign minister. Because he said that we will establish commercial relationship with Israel.
Jordan's King Abdullah, guest of honor at the opening ceremony, pulled still fewer punches with an unexpectedly fierce attack on Israel, especially its stand on Jerusalem, which he called a hotbed of conflict.
I'm afraid that Israel, our peace partner, perpetuates exclusion by the persistence that Jerusalem, both Arab and Israeli, is its capital alone. It can accommodate two capitals, one Palestinian and one Israeli, and belong as it should to the entire world at the same time. I have no doubt in my mind that your organization will exert all possible efforts to help resolve the Jerusalem issue by peaceful means, away from the dual enemies of peace, coercion and exclusion.
The king's challenge had an Israeli rabbi scrambling to work out a response to add into his prepared address.
We all naturally tend to blame the other for all our woes and troubled history, and conveniently ignore our own responsibilities.
A central question they're wrestling with here: does religion cause conflicts? Still more pertinently, can religions resolve conflicts? Understandably, most here take the optimistic view, but most also acknowledge just how difficult it is for religion actually to create harmony where there is conflict. Gerald Kessel, CNN, Amman, Jordan.
For the second time in less than a week, Colombia has extradited a major drug suspect to the United States. Venezuelan Fernando Jose Flores faces an indictment for shipping cocaine to Florida for the Cali drug cartel. U.S. officials believe Flores may have evidence that could lead to the extradition of the brothers who ran the Cali operation. On Sunday, a suspected heroin trafficker became the first Colombian extradited to the U.S. in 9 years. Other stories making news in our WorldView Minute. Former Chilean leader Augusto Pinochet celebrated his 84th birthday under house arrest outside London, while pro-Pinochet demonstrators in Santiago marched in a show of support for the former general. Pinochet is fighting extradition to Spain, where he faces charges of human rights abuses. At Indonesia's parliament building in Jakarta, thousands of protesters demanded an independence referendum for the province of Aceh. The country's top military general was inside parliament, denying allegations of human rights abuses during a 9-year military clampdown on Aceh. U.S. President Bill Clinton's half-brother Roger and his band are scheduled to visit North Korea next month. The band is booked to play in a concert featuring both North and South Korean artists. The White House says Roger Clinton will visit the communist country as a private citizen. WorldView will be right back.
You invest, right? Okay, keep your eye on this website. It's time we had something like this. Investment possibilities waiting to be discovered. Every click, another company. Complete with all financials, analysts' reports, earnings history, the works, all on one website. the discovery companies at AmericanStocks.com. The American Stock Exchange. Discover the possibilities.
Now let's talk about the business trips. John, you're flying to Las Vegas. Vivian, Atlanta. Peter, Milan. Michael, Paris. Amanda, Tokyo. And Paul, Hanover.
Okay, let's talk about the business trips. John, Hanover. Vivian, Hanover. Peter, Hanover. Michael, Hanover. Amanda, Hanover.
Fitbit, the world's #1.
The U.S. Postal Service, with new automated systems from Lockheed Martin, is speeding the delivery of billions of pieces of mail. And the occasional birthday present from Uncle Will. Interestingly, Lockheed Martin is also building America's next generation of fighter planes. Which means we not only help deliver the present, but the future.
At Oldie, we see every client as unique. Take Brad Banning, avid outdoorsman, mechanical engineer, and former customer of a full-cost broker. Brad moved to Oldie, a pioneer of full-service discount brokerage, where he receives advice geared to his risk profile and individual goals. Best of all, Oldie's advice comes with dramatic commission savings over full-cost firms. Spend your time focused on life. Call Oldie, America's full-service discount broker.
Last time we spoke, I told you how easy it is to get a really terrific brand name PC like this one. Plus, unlimited internet access, in-home service, and great deals for just $24.95 a month. However, I did not say out loud how easy it is to contact People PC. Visit us at peoplepc.com or just dial 1-800-PEOPLE-PC. Thank you for letting me set the record straight.
High roads of the future.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Teamwork is important not only in the field of basketball, but also in the field of life. It helps you become a better person. It helps you build character and personality, learning to work with others. And definitely, if you want to win, you have got to have teamwork.
When you invest so much into something, and everyone has their own individual goals, and the team has the goal, and to achieve it in the fashion that we did, where we worked hard and we believed in each other, it's an absolutely overpowering feeling, and I was just so honored to be a part of that and to be a part of that group of people.
It's a feeling that you've done what you possibly could to reach this goal, and you've achieved it. And it's something you're grateful for what you've done, but also the people that have helped you get to that goal.
And our captain, Carla Overbeck.
And you're surrounded by an unbelievable team and very talented people and great people, and they won't let anything bad happen to you.
Winning is a really, it's just a payoff for great work. When you're part of a team, you're stronger if you're, with a good team versus just by yourself.
This Voices of the Millennium is presented by Lincoln, American Luxury.
Coming up on WorldView, an unusual neighborhood business gets an extra helping hand this Thanksgiving.
Welcome to egghead.com.
Going sideways. Folks, this is the Cybervator. It guides you through the computer store inside your computer. 11th floor, where the biggest computer brands are always on sale. Virtually speaking. Going diagonal, auctions hard to find items, and the Love Lounge? Oops, someone's mouse is wandering. Egghead.com, the computer store inside your computer.
Forecast shows and fears meters high with smoke. Carlo, where are you? The meeting started.
The world doesn't stop for the flu, but you do. Did you know there's something you can do for the coughing, fever, chills, the body aches that can make you miserable for weeks? Your doctor can prescribe a pill that attacks the flu virus itself, not just the symptoms.
Oh, doctor.
As soon as flu symptoms start, call your doctor for information about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster, so you can feel better faster. And now that the flu season is hit, if you feel fluish, see your doctor early. And to learn to recognize flu symptoms, send for this free brochure. Discover how prescription pills fight the flu virus so you feel better faster. Call today and learn more about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bell Atlantic, your guide through the wiles of communications.
Weeknights. Wolf Blitzer, Joey Chen, Jim Ray. The World Today. Weeknights, 8 Eastern on CNN.
Two brothers, one would rule Egypt, the other would achieve immortality.
Abandon this futile mission, Moses.
The whole family will thrill to the greatest adventure of all time on pay-per-view.
Let my people go!
Experience the mystery, the majesty, and the miracle.
He is our brother Moses, the Prince of Egypt.
For the first time on television, the Prince of Egypt. Order it at home on pay-per-view.
Southeast Signature Volkswagen of Murfreesboro is one of the best kept secrets in Middle Tennessee. Not only do we carry Volkswagen, but we have one of the greatest selections in stock now. For instance, this new 1999 Jetta, only $199 a month. Or get this new Passat, ranked one of the best by all the magazines out there, only $19,988. And there's no need to keep a secret any longer. We have the new Beetles in stock now, ready to go. Remember, that's the best kept secret in Middle Tennessee. Southeast Signature Volkswagen in Murfreesboro.
Join Emmy Award-winning Larry King, live only on CNN.
In Los Angeles, a neighborhood bakery has provided gang members with a way to learn a legitimate trade. So when the bakery's existence was threatened, the community began rallying support. CNN's Jennifer Arthur reports.
Blackened ovens, charred bread racks, and pallets are all that remain inside the Homeboy Bakery in East Los Angeles. A pre-dawn electrical fire in October put 11 ex-gang members out of work, jobs that provided an alternative to gang activity.
Having a job is really good, and if you think you're going to be out here making the easy money, you're going to do easy time when you get caught.
Tony Barragan says before Homeboy Bakery, he belonged to one of the more than 900 street gangs in Los Angeles. And although citywide crime is down about 11%, the LA Police Department counts at least 358 gang-related deaths this year, a 2% increase over last year. As a way to address crime, Father Greg Boyle launched Homeboy Industries in 1991, a group of 6 small businesses, including the Homeboy Bakery.
Our motto here is jobs, not jails. What if we invested in these young people rather than invested in buildings to hold them incarcerated for some time?
Since the fire October 29th, mothers of these former gang members have raised money selling tamales each weekend. Plumbers, electricians, and gas company workers have called offering free services after a Los Angeles area radio station broadcast the news that the Homeboy Bakery had shut its doors.
Blazing the most hip-hop and R&B, Big Boy's neighborhood.
The station has been instrumental in helping the Homeboy Bakery raise about $300,000 to date toward reopening.
The community support's been dynamite. When you say Homeboy Bakery, you stick the right kind of people in there, and you provide a place where they can go and get the proper training to go out and get a job.
It's happened for 19-year-old Danny Marcia. He's among 6 former Homeboy bakers with new jobs.
The job, the bakery was like, it was a lifesaver to me. I started gangbanging since I was 13.
After years in the juvenile justice system, Marcia says his family had given up on him. But this Thanksgiving Day, he'll be surrounded by family.
Now that they're coming back to me, I'm thankful for that.
Jennifer Arthur, CNN, Los Angeles.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Charles Bierbauer. The Moneyline News Hour is next.